Your journey will eventually lead to a place divine and holy. There is much knowledge to be gained here, but its greatest secret is the passage it harbors. Go with God, my son, for this passage is fiercely guarded.
Look, we just found a shotgun with infinite ammo, and we have pistols with infinite ammo, so it better be fiercely guarded. This is a very short level, but there are a couple interesting things I can think of, as well as the first actually difficult boss battle. We do fight some fell spirits again, this time so we can see how well the shotgun works against them, which is to say, very well. It takes about 4 shots of the shotgun to get rid of them at a middle distance, but if we get in close, we can knock them over with a single shot and then shoot them while they're on the ground to kill them in just 2 shots. It may seem more dangerous to use the shotgun because you have to get closer, but that's actually definitely not the case. Because your shotgun knocks the enemies over, there are less of them attacking you at a time, while if you use the pistols, the enemies don't suffer any kind of stun lock. So in short, the shotgun is the best way to take out fell spirits. Provided you can get close, but there's very few situations where getting close would be an impossibility. They attack so slowly that you can usually approach them very casually as well. You don't have to like strafe while you approach or anything. Later in the game, the fell spirits do get significantly more aggressive, but the shotgun is still a very easy way to deal with them. The strategy we're using also means it's a lot easier to pick up power glyphs to upgrade ourselves. Speaking of which, you might notice I still have 2,000 power glyphs up there. That's because even though I bought the upgrades last time, I forgot to save. So I accidentally made this level a tiny bit harder on myself, but that's okay because we'll get something to fix that very shortly. Actually, if I recall correctly, we're headed toward it right now after I bust open these barrels because we can't leave a single power glyph behind. And if you're tired of seeing the fell spirits, don't worry, we're about to encounter a new enemy type, but the fell spirits will still be around after that. The game doesn't have that many enemy types, but it uses all of its enemy types very well. Here's another half-life container, which means we now have a full life container, which means our life is upgraded permanently. Regardless of whether you buy life upgrades in the armory, finding these is still incredibly useful because you want all the extra health you can possibly get for these for this game's boss fights. These gargoyle enemies serve as a kind of practice for the upcoming boss battle. They have 3 attacks. They can swoop at you, which is best avoided by dodging to the side. They can do a slam downward at you, which is best avoided by dodging backward. And they can fire missiles, which you can usually strafe around without even dodging, but if you need to dodge, you should dodge left or right. Using your pistols when they're far away is optimal, but when they get close, feel free to switch to your shotgun because, like the fell spirits, the shotgun does stun lock them. It may not seem that important, but getting rid of a gargoyle quickly means there's less gargoyles attacking you at any given time, so it's pretty useful. Even though the camera wanted to show us this gate, we can't enter it yet, which is a shame. We can't jump over the wall either, even though it totally looks like we could. In here we have yet more gargoyles, and the same strategy pertains here as it did previously, except now you have more room to move around, so it should be a tad easier. There is a giant obstacle to your shots right in the middle of the square, but this is also an obstacle for the enemy's shots, and usually they'll have to go around it to get at you, which means you can then use your shotgun on them, which is dandy. And even if the enemy does manage to shoot around the obstacle, they'll still come for you because they seem to be programmed to use their attacks at varying frequency. It's very unlikely you'll fight a gargoyle that only shoots at you. They tend to swipe towards you at least once. That is, unless you manage to kill them before they get the chance, which is very likely with a shotgun. It's kind of pathetic how they flop along the ground like that. That's most of the enemy— oh, hold on, I forgot about one. That's almost most of the enemies in here. After we get rid of this guy, we have a secret to look at, or rather, a couple secrets. There's also a cheat code hidden in this place, but we're going to ignore those. The secret we want is over here to the right. I think I go too far right, though, and I need to backtrack slightly. Yeah, that's the wrong building. We can double jump up to this building here next to the tree. Though we do have to time it for maximum height. Then after we get to the very top of the roof, we can see there's a grapple point. And this actually leads to 2 more grapple points. And I'm sure you can guess what that purple thing is. It's another Half-Life container. There are 2 of them in this stage. And here's a secret gargoyle that only appears if you drop down here. I'm not sure why it's over here all by itself, but I guess it's kinda neat that they give you something to fight if you walk over here. Nothing to complain about, really. The cutscene probably tipped you off that we need to go up to the church, and, well, the stairs are gone, but we do have a grappling hook for a reason, as you just witnessed. And this is actually the end of the level. We're about to face the boss, but before we do, we need to bust open these barrels over here to get a life replenisher that we're not going to use, but you should know it's there anyway.
Unhand the lady.
Trust me. There is nothing ladylike about her. Welcome to Vaseria. So nice to see you again.
Again? You know me?
You are not easily forgotten.
Oh, he will be this time. After he has followed the princess to death.
This is Anna Valerius?
In the flesh. But from this moment forward...
Consider her a ghost!
The first half of this boss isn't too bad. We have to shoot Verona and Alira, who are casting some kind of magic on Mariska. Using our pistols and using the pistol's alternate fire whenever possible is the best way to do this. Mariska can summon beams of light out of the ground that we can easily walk around. She can shoot lightning, but that doesn't damage us, and she can cause a shockwave, which we can dodge backward to avoid. There's a shield around Alira now, which means we need to hurt her with our blades instead of our guns, otherwise we won't be doing any damage to her. It's dangerous to get close like this because the shockwave has a much greater chance of hurting you, so pay close attention. The boss fight against Mariska is the first actual difficult boss fight in the game. She can shoot lightning across the room, which you need to jump over either left or right. She can swoop at you and grab you, which you absolutely need to jump over. You can't dodge that one. And she has another attack where she gets close and swings her wings at you. That's the attack we want, and we can bait her into using it. The trick is to stay a middle distance, and then move toward her when she gets closer to you. This doesn't always work, but it works most of the time. Our hat fell off, and we can't deal with that. We need our hat. The hat doesn't do anything special when you put it back on, but come on. Do you just want to leave the hat lying on the ground like that? Anyway, as far as this boss fight is concerned, just remember that jumping is your best friend.
you alright?
Of course I'm all right. What do you think, I can't take care of myself?
I just saved your life. The least you can do is humor me with a little conversation.
You killed a vampire. No one has done that in over 100 years.
Well, I'd say that was a good thing, wouldn't you?
Vampires only kill what they need to survive. Now they will kill for revenge. You tell me which is better.
Wait. I was sent by the Vatican. I was told you could help me destroy Dracula.
I believe it's the other way around. You were sent to help me.
Fair enough. So where do we begin?
If I knew that, it would be done already.
Surely there must be something, some ancient knowledge passed down through your family.
My brother Velkin spent years here in the church looking for such knowledge. I believe he was close to finding it until he was bitten by a werewolf 6 months ago.
Where did he do this research?
There, in the library.